జేఈఈ మెయిన్స్ 2020 మొదటి ప్రయత్నంలోనే 45 మంది విద్యార్థులకు గాను 36 మంది విద్యార్థులు ఐఐటి అడ్వాన్స్డ్ కి అర్హత సాధించి అత్యద్భుతమైన ప్రతిభను సామాన్యమైన విద్యార్థుల ద్వారా నిరూపించిన ఏకైక విద్యా సంస్థ కృష్ణమూర్తి ఐఐటి అండ్ నీట్ అకాడమీ నెల్లూరు.
Good morning, children. Today's topic is human respiratory system.
So respiration is a catabolic process in which oxidation of food occurs for the metabolic activities of an organism. We have seen two types of respiratory. Respiration occurs in two ways. One is anaerobic respiration, another one is aerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration occurs in absence of oxygen, whereas less amount of energy is released, and incomplete burning of organic substances occurs in anaerobic respiration. Whereas when we see the aerobic respiration occurs in presence of oxygen, where more amount of energy is liberated, and also it occurs in most of all the organisms except bacteria and yeast. And we have seen different respiratory organs which are present in different kinds of organisms, that is in invertebrates and vertebrates. So mostly in invertebrates, the respiration occurs by simple diffusion, whereas in annelida, when it comes to annelida, the respiratory organ is nothing but our respiration occurs by moist surface. In arthropoda, if you take respiration occurs by a system called tracheal system. That is in aquatic arthropods, respiration occurs by that is gills, or we can call as book gills. Scorpion and spider, it occurs by a book lungs. Whereas mollusca, it occurs by feather-like gills. Echinodermata also it occurs by body surface. Whereas when it comes to the vertebrates, even in vertebrates also basing on the habitat and organization level, different kinds of respiratory organs are present. Whereas spices, they are living in the water, they are respired with the help of gills, that is fishes. When comes to the
amphibians will be living in water as well as on the land. That is dual nature of habitat. So when they are in water, they respire with the help of moist skin. When they are
జేఈఈ మెయిన్స్ 2020 మొదటి ప్రయత్నంలోనే 45 మంది విద్యార్థులకు గాను 36 మంది విద్యార్థులు ఐఐటి అడ్వాన్స్డ్ కి అర్హత సాధించి అత్యద్భుతమైన ప్రతిభను సామాన్యమైన విద్యార్థుల ద్వారా నిరూపించిన ఏకైక విద్యా సంస్థ కృష్ణమూర్తి ఐఐటి అండ్ నీట్ అకాడమీ నెల్లూరు.
Present on the land, they respire with the help of lungs. Suppose the larva of the frog will call as tadpole larva. It respires with the help of gills. Another one is reptiles, mammals as well as aves. These respires with the help of lungs. And also we have seen the organisms which respires with the gills is called branchial respiration. The organisms which respires with the lungs are called pulmonary respiration. The organisms which respires with the skin is called cutaneous, and different kinds of we have seen. Now you will see about the human respiratory system, that is human respiratory organs which are present in human respiration. So the first human respiratory organ is external nostrils. External nostrils. The first one is external nostrils. A pair of external nostrils are present on the upper lip. A pair of external nostrils are present on the upper lip, which are the opening for respiratory system. So human respiratory organs, the first human respiratory organ is external nostrils. A pair of external nostrils are present on the upper lip. These are the openings for respiratory system, which leads to a passage which leads inside to nasal passages. Nasal passages. So the external nostrils leads through nasal passages. The next part is called nasal chambers. Nasal chambers. Second part is called nasal chambers. External nostrils leads to nasal chambers. There are two nasal chambers which are separated by a soft membranous pellet called soft membranous soft membranous pellet called soft membranous pellet called nasal septum. Nasal septum. So how many nasal chambers are present? Two nasal chambers are present. External nostrils leads through a passages called nasal chambers. Two nasal chambers are present. These both nasal chambers are separated by a soft membranous structure called nasal septum. So nasal chamber consists of three parts. Three parts are present in nasal chamber, or we can say nasal chambers are divided into three parts or consist of three parts. What are the three parts is vestibular part, vestibular part, and the second one is a respiratory part, respiratory part, and the third one is olfactory part, olfactory part. So nasal chamber consists of three parts. The three parts are vestibular part, respiratory part, and olfactory part. Vestibular part is lined with the hairs and sebaceous glands. Hair and sebaceous gland. So vestibular part is lined with hairs and sebaceous glands. What is the function of this vestibular part is the dust particles which are entering along with the inhaled air will be struck with the help of hairs and sebaceous glands. Sebaceous glands gives moist in structure, that is the sebaceous glands forms as a moist or gives moist in the vestibular part, so which protects or which prevents the dust particles and makes sticky, so that the dust particles will be prevented in the without entering into the lungs. It is prevented in the vestibular part. So which is the part where the which is the part where this dust particles is prevented is in the vestibular part. Next one is the respiratory part. The main function of respiratory part is it moderates the temperature. It moderates the temperature. Which moderates the temperature? The temperature is moderated in the respiratory part. So in the nasal chamber, respiratory part is the second part. So in the respiratory part of the nasal chamber, the temperature is moderated. Moderated means the inhaled air which is entering into the lungs, before reaching to the lungs, the respiratory part makes the air equal to the temperature of the body temperature. That is moderating the temperature. Whereas this respiratory part consists of, the respiratory part consists of three thin twisted bony structures. Three thin twisted bony structures. Three thin twisted bony structures called nasal concave, nasal concave or nasal turbinals, nasal concave or turbinals. Important children. So three thin respiratory part moderates or makes the temperature equal to the body temperature when air is entering through the nasal chamber. Another one is the nasal chamber consists of three thin twisted bony like structures called nasal concave or turbinals. So where are the three thin twisted bony structures present? They are present in the nasal chambers. How many bony structures are present? Three thin bony structures are present. What is the name of that three bony structures? Nasal conchae or turbinus. The next part is called olfactory. Olfactory part is lined with the olfactory epithelium. Is lined with the olfactory epithelium. So olfactory part is lined with olfactory epithelium, which helps for the sense, which helps for the smelling of the things, or which is the main sense organ for smelling the things. Nasal now, this nasal chambers, the first part is external nostrils, second one is nasal chambers, the third one is nasopharynx. Nasopharynx. The third one is nasopharynx. So nasal chambers leads to the next part called nasopharynx. Nasopharynx is present above the pellet called ula. Above the pellet called ula. So nasopharynx lies above the pellet called ula. So this nasopharynx leads to the next part called oropharynx. Oropharynx. Whereas pharynx is the common junction for food and air passages. Food and air passages. Which is the common junction for food and air passages? Pharynx. So this nasopharynx lies above the pellet called ula, that is above the soft pellet called ula, whereas nasopharynx leads to the next part called oropharynx. Oropharynx enters into the larynx, through glottis. Through glottis. Very important bit, children. Through glottis. So oropharynx leads to the next part called larynx. Whereas larynx, how it enters? Larynx enters through a glottis. Again, remember, children, larynx enters, nasopharynx leads to a next chamber called larynx. Larynx through glottis. So through glottis. Now this larynx enters through the glottis, which is the common food. So nasopharynx lies above the soft pellet called ula, whereas this nasopharynx lies above the soft pellet. Nasopharynx leads to the next chamber called oropharynx. Pharynx is the food and air passage. It's a common passage for food and air, whereas oropharynx leads to the next chamber to the called as a larynx through glottis. Next part is larynx. Next part is called larynx. Larynx is known as voice box. Larynx is known as the voice box. Larynx is a cartilaginous box. Larynx is a cartilaginous box. Cartilaginous. Larynx is known as voice box. Larynx is a cartilaginous box which is made up of with 9 cartilages. Which is made up of with 9 cartilages. How many cartilages are present in the larynx? 9 cartilages are present. Which is known as the voice box. Larynx is known as the voice box. Larynx is made up of 9 cartilaginous structures. So in this 9 cartilaginous structures, 3 are unpaired. 3 are unpaired. What are the 3 cartilaginous structures which are unpaired is, that is thyroid, another one is epiglottis, thyroid, epiglottis and cuneiform. So these are the 3 unpaired structures. So thyroid and epiglottis, cuneiform, these are the 3 unpaired structures. So which are the paired structures? So there are paired structures. The paired structures present in larynx. The paired structures are cornified cartilage, cornified cartilage, cornified cartilage, arytenoid cartilage, arytenoid cartilage. Another one is cuneiform cartilage, cuneiform cartilage. So the three unpaid cartilages, three paid cartilages. These three paid cartilages are important, children. Three paid cartilages present in the larynx are cornified cartilage, arytenoid cartilage, and cuneiform cartilage. So what are the three paid unpaid cartilages? Suppose now we said cornified cartilage. Cornified cartilage is also known as cartilage of Santorini. Cartilage of Santorini. So important, children, which is known as cartilage of Santorini. Cornified cartilage is called cornified of Santorini. That is in arytenoid cartilage. How many are there? Two cartilages are there. What are the two cartilages? That is two cartilages, Santorini, or we can say each one they are paid. Two cornified cartilages, two arytenoid cartilages, two cuneiform cartilages. So these two cornified cartilages whereas is otherwise called as cartilage of Santorini. So this cartilage of Santorini is nothing but which is made up of with two conical, two nodules of two nodules of conical, two nodules of conical elastic cartilage, elastic cartilage, which is of conical and nodule shaped elastic cartilage. Cornified cartilage is called as cartilage of Santorini, whereas it is of what is the shape of this cornified cartilage is? It is of two conical elastic cartilage, cone shape. So which cartilage is of cone shape? Carotenoid cartilage is of a cone shape, or we can say it is made up of with two nodules of conical elastic cartilage. So when comes to this arytenoid cartilage fuses are is having a connection with thyroid cartilage. Thyroid cartilage, arytenoid cartilage is connected with a thyroid cartilage, is connected with a thyroid cartilage by a fold-like structure or by an elastic cartilage, by an elastic cartilage. So arytenoid cartilage is connected with the thyroid cartilage by an elastic cartilage. So what is that cartilage or what is that cartilage is of elastic cartilage? The space between thyroid cartilage and arytenoid cartilage is called the space, that space we are calling the space or the cartilage which is attached with the thyroid cartilage and arytenoid cartilage. What is present is vocal cords are present. Vocal cords are present between thyroid and arytenoid cartilage. So when it comes to the vocal cartilages, vocal cords, we know that already we have said about the larynx. So what is larynx? Larynx is nothing but the voice box we have said, which is made up of with 9 cartilages. Larynx is a voice box which is made up of with 9 cartilage, whereas 3 are unpaid cartilage and 3 are unpaid cartilage. Another one, whereas other 2 are other 3 are paid cartilage. Now we are seeing about paid cartilages. So in paid cartilages, we are talking about arytenoid cartilage. Arytenoid cartilage. In arytenoid cartilage, this arytenoid cartilage is connected with a thyroid cartilage by an elastic cartilage. So between the arytenoid cartilage and thyroid cartilage, vocal cords are present. Vocal cords are present which are helpful for the sound production. which are helpful for the sound production, or we can say as a which produces the sound. Which is producing the sound? The vocal cords which are present between arytenoid cartilage and thyroid cartilage, these vocal cords are present. Here what we have to see is these vocal cords are of two types. Vocal cords are two types. So what are the two types of vocal cords is, one is false vocal cords, and another one is true vocal cords, false vocal cords and true vocal cords. What are false vocal cords? False vocal cords are present at the anterior portion of the larynx. Anterior portion of the larynx. So vocal cords, false vocal cords are present at the anterior part of the larynx, which are made up of with the folds of membrane, which are made up of with the folds of membrane, folds of a membrane, whereas no sound is produced in the false vocal cord. Two types of vocal cords are present. Larynx we are calling as sound box or voice box because of presence of vocal cords. These vocal cords are present between arytenoid and thyroid cartilage, which is having a connection between a thyroid and a arytenoid cartilage. Whereas two kinds of vocal cords are present. One is false vocal cord, another one is true vocal cord. The anterior part of the larynx consists of false vocal cord, whereas these vocal cords are present because of the membranous folds. So they are called false vocal cords. No phonation. No phonation means no sound is produced from the false vocal cords. They are pinkish in color. They are pink in color. Next one is true vocal cords. True vocal cords are present towards the posterior part of larynx. Posterior part of larynx, which are present towards the posterior part of larynx. True vocal cords are present towards the posterior part of the larynx. They are yellow cartilage. They are of a yellow in color, which are known as true vocal cords, produces the sound. So which produces the sound? True vocal cords only produces the sound. So that is of a arytenoid cartilage. So the next part in larynx is the epiglottis. Next one is the epiglottis. Epiglottis is a cartilaginous flap-like structure. Cartilaginous flap-like structure. Flap-like structure. Cartilaginous elastic flap-like structure, which covers the larynx, So what is the main function of epiglottis? Prevents the entry of food. Prevents the entry of food. Which prevents the entry of food? Prevents the entry of food. Which prevents the entry of food? Epiglottis is a elastic flap-like elastic cartilage which covers the larynx and prevents the entry of food. So when we see the space between arytenoid cartilage and thyroid cartilage, a space is present. That space is called rheumagglotidis. Rheumagglotidis. What is rheumagglotidis? Rheumagglottis is a space between thyroid cartilage, space between thyroid and arytenoid. Thyroid and arytenoid. So the space between thyroid and arytenoid is called rheumagglotidis. Very important, children. Where is rheumagglotidis present? Rheumagglotidis is present between thyroid and arytenoid. Or another way also we can say, what is the space present between thyroid and arytenoid is rheumagglotidis. So that is and on the larynx we can see that is towards the ventral part of larynx.
జేఈఈ మెయిన్స్ 2020 మొదటి ప్రయత్నంలోనే 45 మంది విద్యార్థులకు గాను 36 మంది విద్యార్థులు ఐఐటి అడ్వాన్స్డ్ కి అర్హత సాధించి అత్యద్భుతమైన ప్రతిభను సామాన్యమైన విద్యార్థుల ద్వారా నిరూపించిన ఏకైక విద్యా సంస్థ
కృష్ణమూర్తి ఐఐటి అండ్ నీట్ అకాడమీ నెల్లూరు.
The ventral part of larynx, towards the ventral part of larynx, what is present? The laryngeal prominence is present. Laryngeal prominence is present. Laryngeal prominence, that is on the thyroid, that is towards the larynx means in the larynx which part is, that is towards the ventral part of thyroid. Ventral part of thyroid, very important children. Towards the ventral part of thyroid, what is present? A laryngeal prominence is present. That laryngeal prominence is called Adam's apple. Is called Adam's apple. What is meant by Adam's apple? Adam's apple is nothing but a laryngeal prominence which is present towards the ventral part of thyroid. So that part is called Adam's apple. So this is about the larynx. But here what we have to see about the larynx is we have to see about the vocal cords. So what is that? This we are calling as voice box. So if you see these vocal cords, the vocal cords, there are lot of difference between the vocal cords between man and women. So men and women, there is a lot of difference in the vocal cords. What is the main difference in this is when we see men, the vocal cords are longer and thicker. Longer and thicker. So in men, the vocal cords are longer and thicker so that the voice is of low pitch. The voice in men is low pitch. What is meant by low pitch? So gents' voice we can say if they speak a little, that is with low voice also we can hear a louder in sound. Why we can hear as a louder voice from males, that is in men, is because the vocal cords are longer and thicker. When we see the vocal cords of women, they are shorter and thin. So the vocal cords in women, that is in ladies, the vocal cords is very short and thin. So they need high pitch. High pitch means for small things also, ladies has to speak louder to get more voice. But whereas in gents, if they speak little also, the voice will be very harsh because of the vocal cords longer and thicker. So this is of a larynx. So next first one is the nasal chamber, that is external nostrils. External nostrils leads to the next chambers called nasal passages or nasal chambers. Nasal chambers, two nasal chambers are present which are separated by a septum called a nasal septum, whereas it consists of three parts: vestibular part, respiratory part, olfactory part. Vestibular part is lined with hair and sebaceous glands which prevents the dust particles in the vestibular part, whereas the next part is called respiratory part. Respiratory part moderates the temperature of the air which is entering from the outside equal to the body temperature. Third one is olfactory part. Olfactory part is nothing but this which is lined with olfactory epithelium which is helpful for the sensation of a smell. And the next one is the nasopharynx. Nasopharynx is nasal chambers leads to the nasopharynx. Nasopharynx enters to the larynx through a part called glottis, which is present above a soft pellet called uvula. And the next one is the larynx. Larynx is known as voice box, which is made up of with 9 cartilages. 3 are unpaired, whereas that is 3 are paid structures. That is thyroid, cricoid, and another one is the epiglottis. Thyroid, cricoid, epiglottis. These 3 are unpaid cartilages, whereas three paid cartilages are corniculate cartilage, arytenoid cartilage, and cuneiform cartilage. Whereas corniculate cartilage is otherwise known as cartilage of Santorini. Arytenoid cartilage is two cartilages made up of two, whereas another one is cuneiform is two, and cornified is also two. Whereas cornified is known as cartilage of Santorini. So there is an elastic cartilage which attaches thyroid and arytenoid cartilage. That is an elastic structure. The gap between the space, this part, that elastic cartilage is nothing but which we are calling as vocal cords. The space between arytenoid cartilage and thyroid cartilage is called a rama glottidis. And epiglottis is a elastic flap-like structure which covers the larynx and helps for the entry of food into the voice box. And we have seen here another one is the on the ventral side of thyroid, a laryngeal prominence is present. That laryngeal prominence is called a Adam's apple, which is very important. And vocal cords, I said two vocal cords are present. Where are the vocal cords present? Vocal cords are present between thyroid and arytenoid cartilage. There are two kinds of vocal cords. One is false vocal cord, another one is the true vocal cord. False vocal cord are nothing but which are formed by the folds of membranes where there is no use for the sound production. They are present towards the anterior part of the larynx, which are of pink in color. Whereas next one is true vocal cord. True vocal cords are present posterior part of the larynx, which we are calling as true vocal cords. They are because they produce the sound, and also they are yellow in color. Next one is vocal cords. There are two vocal cords are different in men and women. In men, the vocal cords are very long and thick, so that the voice will be of low pitch. Whereas in women, they are of a shorter and thin, and voice is of a high pitch. This is of a larynx. The next part is trachea. The next respiratory part is trachea. Larynx is known as voice box. Then trachea, the next part is trachea. Trachea is known as windpipe. Trachea is known as windpipe. Trachea is known as the windpipe. Trachea is known as windpipe. So trachea extends till mid-thoracic region. Trachea extends till mid-thoracic region. Thoracic region. Trachea is known as windpipe, which reaches till thoracic region. Whereas the length of trachea is 10 to 12 centimeters. What is the length of trachea? The length of trachea is 10 to 12 centimeters. It is covered by C-shaped cartilage. C-shaped cartilage. Which is covered by C-shaped cartilage? Trachea is covered by C-shaped cartilage, whereas the dorsal side of the trachea, the cartilages are incomplete. Cartilages are incomplete towards the dorsal side. Trachea is made up of with C-shaped cartilage. The dorsal side of trachea, that is with incomplete cartilages. The main function of cartilage is prevents cartilage from collapsing. It prevents cartilage from collapsing. If the cartilage trachea is not lined or made up of with C-shaped cartilage, trachea will collapse. So trachea is prevented without collapsing is only with the help of a C-shaped cartilage. Trachea is lined with pseudostratified. Trachea is lined with pseudostratified ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium, very important bit, children. Ciliated epithelium. Trachea is lined with pseudostratified ciliated epithelium. That is, the inner lining of trachea is lined with pseudostratified epithelium. Now, trachea enters or trachea divides. In which part trachea is divided is trachea divides near the fifth thoracic vertebrae. Fifth thoracic vertebrae, trachea divides into two branches. Trachea divides into two branches near the fifth thoracic vertebrae into right and left. Right and left bronchi. Right and left bronchi. So the next part is bronchi. So the next part is bronchi and bronchioles. Bronchi and bronchioles. So the trachea near the fifth thoracic vertebrae, it divides into two branches. What are the two divisions or two branches is? One is right bronchi, another one is left bronchi. So the right bronchi and left bronchi enters right bronchi and left bronchi near the fifth thoracic vertebrae, divides and enters into the lungs as bronchi. This bronchi divides into number of branches called primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, and tertiary bronchi, and tertiary bronchi. Again, this tertiary bronchi redivides. Again, this tertiary bronchi redivides into same primary, secondary. Another one is the tertiary, terminal, and last one is the respiratory bronchi. Respiratory bronchi till it enters to alveolar ducts. Till it enters to alveolar ducts. In this way, the bronchi divides into number of fine bronchioles, that is into fine branches. How this bronchi is divided? Already we have seen trachea is a windpipe which starts till mid-thoracic region. It is lined with a pseudostratified epithelium and is covered with C-shaped cartilages which is incomplete at the dorsal side, prevents from collapsing. So this trachea in the fifth thoracic vertebrae divides into two branches. What are the two branches? Right bronchi and left bronchi. So in which part this trachea is divided? In the fifth thoracic vertebrae. So it divides into two branches, that is right bronchi and left bronchi. Again, this right bronchi and left bronchi enters to each and every lung. That is, the right bronchi enters to right side lung, left bronchi enters to left side lung. After entering into the lung, again this bronchi divides into primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, and tertiary bronchi. Again, this tertiary bronchi redivides into another small branches called primary bronchi, secondary, tertiary, terminal, and respiratory bronchi. So this respiratory bronchi, or we can say this bronchi redivides into bronchioles, primary bronchiole, secondary bronchiole, tertiary bronchiole, terminal bronchiole, and respiratory bronchiole. This respiratory bronchiole enters into the alveolar ducts. So this alveolar ducts enters into a sac-like structure called alveoli. Alveoli or air sacs. Alveoli or air sacs. So in this way, this the respiratory human respiratory tract is divided into minute branches called alveolar ducts, which appears to be which we can constitute as pulmonary tree, which we can say as a pulmonary tree, appears to be upside down tree. Upside down tree. It appears to be upside down tree. So in this way, the division of respiratory tract occurs in the human beings. So like this, it occurs. Now we will see about the air sacs. So the last part is the air sacs. So air sacs, or we can call as alveoli. Air sacs or alveoli. So air sacs or alveoli are the functional, functional and structural unit. Functional and structural unit of lungs. Structural unit of lungs. Which are the functional and structural unit of lungs? Alveoli. So these alveoli are the functional and structural unit of lungs. Why we are calling this alveoli as functional and structural unit of lungs? Because exchange of gases or diffusion of gases occurs at the site of alveoli. So that we are calling this as the structural unit of lungs. So air sacs is lined with two membranes. Is lined with two membranes. It is lined with two thin membranes. That is outer one is of elastic membrane, elastic and fibrous membrane. Elastic and fibrous membrane. Air sac is lined with the two thin membranes. The two thin membranes are elastic membranes and fibrous membrane. So nearly 300 millions of air sacs are present in both the lungs. How many air sacs are present? 300 millions of air sacs are present in the lungs. Air sacs are covered with blood capillaries, are covered with a network of blood capillaries. So from where do these blood capillaries are covering, are arising to cover the air sacs? So from where these blood capillaries are arising is, suppose we know that from the right ventricle, heart consists of four chambers. That is, upper two chambers are called auricles, whereas the lower two chambers are called ventricles. So these lower two chambers, that is towards the right ventricle, and capillary arises. That is a blood capillary arises or a blood vessel arises. That blood vessel is called pulmonary artery. Is called pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery arises at the right ventricle. This pulmonary artery which is arising at right ventricle enters to the air sacs, and forms as a network of blood capillaries, on the air sacs. So in this way, this pulmonary artery, which is coming from the right ventricle, sometimes they will ask the question in the form of flowchart also, children. Pulmonary artery, which is arising from the right ventricle, forms as a network of blood capillaries on the air sacs. Air sacs are we can call as alveoli. So this pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood. So why it is carrying deoxygenated blood, and it is entering into the air sacs for the purification of blood. So after again this blood capillary is forming as a network on the air sacs. Again on the other side of air sacs, that is on the other side of air sacs, again this blood capillaries form as a pulmonary vein. So another blood vessel starts from the air sacs. On the other side of the air sacs, all the blood capillaries unite together and forms as a blood vessel called pulmonary vein. This blood vessel, pulmonary vein, carries oxygenated blood, carries oxygenated blood, carries oxygenated blood to where? To the left auricle, to the left auricle. Left auricle is nothing but a left auricle is the chamber present in the heart. So what kind of blood it carries? Oxygenated blood. So after exchange of gases, after exchange of blood, that is after exchange of impure blood with the pure blood, that is on the air sac, now this blood will pulmonary vein. So pulmonary vein carries the oxygenated blood and pumps the blood into the left auricle. So from left auricle, blood flows into the body. So this is about the air sacs. The next very important part in human respiratory system is lungs. So the next part is lungs. The main important part in the respiratory system, is the lungs. Lungs occupy large space in the lungs occupy large space in the chest cavity. In the chest cavity or thoracic region or thoracic cavity. So which is the part which is occupying large space in the thoracic cavity? Lungs occupy large space in the thoracic cavity. So how many lungs are present? Two lungs are present. One is towards the right side, another one is towards the left side. So both the lungs are this towards the two lungs are present. When we see the right lung consists of three lobes. Three lobes. Right lung consists of three lobes, which is larger in size. Which is larger in size. Which is larger in size, children? Right lung is larger in size, which consists of three lobes. If you see the color of this, these lungs are of grayish in color, that is a pinkish gray in color. Pinkish gray in a pinkish light pink in color, or we can say light pinkish in color. So lungs occupy the largest space in the thoracic region. There are two lungs. One is right lung, another one is left lung. Then it is of a pinkish in color, or we can say lungs are spongy in nature. Lungs are spongy in nature. Spongy in nature, which are of pinkish in color. So there are one is right lung. Right lung is of three lobes, which is larger in size. When we see the left lung is of two lobes. Left lung is of two lobes, which is smaller in size. Which is smaller in size. Which is small than the right lobe. But here in the that is in the left lung, we can see a that is one cavity, or we can say one cavity is present. That cavity is nothing but one notch, or cavity. Instead of cavity, we can say a notch is present. A notch is present towards the left lung. That notch is called cardiac notch. That notch is called, very important children, a notch is present, cardiac notch. What is the function of cardiac notch is, near the cardiac notch only heart is located. Heart is located near to the cardiac notch. That is the place where heart is located towards the left lung. It appears to be a notch. So that near to that only heart is present. That notch is called cardiac notch. So both the lungs are lined with two membranes. Both the lungs are lined with two membranes. That two membranes are called pleura membranes. Pleura membranes. So lungs are lined with what kind of membrane? Lungs are lined with pleura membrane. So between these membrane, that is the outer we can call as, we can give the names of these also. Two membranes are present. These two membranes are outer membrane called parietal membrane, outer parietal pleura membrane, outer parietal pleura membrane, and another one is inner visceral pleura membrane, inner visceral pleura membrane, inner visceral pleura membrane. That is, lung is covered with two membranes. That two membranes are called pleural membranes. Outer membrane is called outer parietal membrane, and another inner one is inner visceral membrane. So between these two membranes, a cavity is present. A cavity is present. What is that cavity? That cavity is called pleural cavity. A cavity is present. That cavity is called pleural cavity. Pleural cavity is filled with pleural fluid. Pleural cavity is filled with a pleural fluid. What is the function of pleural fluid? It prevents the frictions. It prevents the friction towards the lungs. Which prevents the friction towards the lungs? Pleural cavity prevents the friction towards the lungs. So lungs occupy most space, most of the space in the human body, that is in the chest cavity. In the chest cavity, we can see two kinds of lungs are present. That two lungs are present in the chest cavity. They are of a spongy as well as a pinkish in structure, spongy and a pinkish in structure. So both are of a spongy in nature. These both lungs are covered with a membrane called pleura membrane. This pleura membrane, in between these both pleura membrane, a space is present, that our cavity is present, that is called pleural cavity. This pleura cavity is filled with pleural fluid, which prevents the lungs from collapsing. So here we can see that is epiglottis. This is known as larynx. Larynx. So it is a flap-like structure called epiglottis. Epiglottis. Whereas the trachea which is lined with a C-shaped structure. Bronchi. Another one is bronchioles. That is bronchioles. Lungs. So lungs are lined with a double membrane. Lungs are lined with a double membrane. Here we can see a notch. So notch is present. This notch is called cardiac notch. Cardiac notch, which is where heart is present. Heart is present. Between these, that is lungs, whereas pleura membrane. They are made up of with a pleura membrane. It is notched in this way, that is located. So a cavity is present. This cavity is called pleural cavity. Pleural cavity is filled with the pleural fluid. This pleural fluid reduces the friction of the lungs. So this, when we say the structure, how it is, that is, the lungs are present. We know already there are different kinds of vestigial, that is the different kinds of vital organ. Even lung also is a vital organ. How heart and brain are the vital organs in the body, even lung also is a vital organ. So lungs are protected in a thoracic cavity. Lungs are protected in the thoracic box, or in a thoracic box or a chest box. So how these lungs are protected in a thoracic box is, so that lungs are protected in a thoracic box. So we are calling lungs as airtight chambers. Airtight chambers. Lungs are known as airtight chambers. Why lungs are known as airtight chambers? Means they are protected in such a way. Suppose how they are protected means that is dorsal side. Dorsal side. Lungs are protected at dorsal side. Vertebral column is present. Vertebral column is vertebral column is present towards the dorsal side. Ventral side. Ventral side, what is present? Sternum. Sternum is present towards the ventral side. Lateral sides. Lateral sides, ribs are present. Ribs are present. If you see the posterior side, towards the posterior side, a dome-shaped diaphragm is present. Dome-shaped diaphragm is present towards the posterior side. So in this way, these lungs are present in the thoracic or chest cavity by the vertebral column on the dorsal side, sternum on the ventral side, and ribs on the ventral side, and diaphragm towards the dome-shaped diaphragm towards the posterior side. Whereas lungs, I said two membranes are present. That is outer parietal layer and inner visceral layer. Outer pleura membrane is present towards the lining of the chest cavity. Which faces towards the lining of the chest cavity? The outer pleura membrane faces towards the lining of the chest cavity, whereas the inner pleura membrane faces towards the lung surface. Faces towards the lung surface, whereas this bronchioles divides into number of branches called air sacs. Divides into number of branches called air sacs. Whereas again this what is bronchioles divides into bronchiole, bronchiole, which divides into air duct or alveolar duct, that is called air sacs or alveoli. So like that number of divisions we can see inside the lungs. So which reduces the, so in this way it is present. And here the lungs consists of mainly two parts. What are the two parts or how this lungs acts as the airtight chambers is these two kinds of parts are present in the lungs. One is conducting part, another one is respiratory part. So what is meant by conducting part? The conducting part present in the lungs, that is conducting part starts from the conducting part present in the lungs is suppose conducting part. So conducting part starts from external nostrils to bronchioles. External nostrils to bronchi or bronchioles. We are calling as conducting part. That is till air sac, till alveolar, that is bronchioles. Bronchioles. Till bronchioles, that part is called conducting part. What is the function of conducting part is the air which is entering, that is the atmospheric air enters from the external nostrils to nasal chambers to larynx, larynx to trachea, trachea to bronchi till bronchioles. So which conducts atmospheric air into the lungs, that part is called the conducting part. The next part is called respiratory part. The next part is called a respiratory part. Which is respiratory part is alveolar duct to alveolar ducts to air sacs through till air sacs is called respiratory part. So in the respiratory part, what is the function of respiratory part is the atmospheric air which enters into the conducting part, exchange of gases takes place in the respiratory part. So which part of the respiratory exchange of gases takes place is in the respiratory part, that is in air sacs or alveoli. So in the alveoli, exchange of gases takes place. Exchange of gases takes place. So that is called respiratory part. because alveoli is lined with blood capillaries, forms as a network of blood capillaries. So here the air, the blood capillaries which are bringing out the blood, exchange of gases takes place between these both and this air enters into the alveoli